Alright, hello and welcome back. So, in these games we usually have three types of characters. We have the base B, we have the base A, and we have the base S. The base B characters are usually the weakest units, and you usually get them on the start of your game when you pretty much make the character and when you start to play the game for the first time. The A ranks, the base A ranks, are slightly higher, and their purpose are to be slightly better than the B ranks, and some of them are actually meta and some of them are really powerful. And well, on the end we have the S ranks, and they are the most powerful characters, both in being DPS and in both support, since all of these classes have their unique purpose. Some of them are DPS, some of them are support, and the differences between them are actually really major. It actually depends from character to character. Some A ranks are on the level of an S rank. You can, however, level up that A rank to be the double S or triple S rank, but still we will see a major difference between the performances of these characters. Now again, it really depends on what character we are taking a look at. And in this case, we are going to be taking a look at three characters, each being a representative of B, A, and S. And overall, first we'll be talking about the B versus A rank. The B ranks are, like I said, usually the first characters that you get, and performance-wise, they are pretty weak, and their purpose is usually to be training and to learn how to play the game. The A ranks, however, again depends from A rank to A rank, but they are usually a lot more powerful, and the overall difference between them, between the B and A, is quite significant, and most people will definitely notice the performance boost. Now again, it depends on what A rank we're talking about. Some A ranks are weak, some A ranks are on the level of B ranks in terms of performance, and in terms of usefulness, and some A ranks are also on the level of an S rank in terms of overall performance and overall power. A really good example is the Fuhua that was released, the core for Fuhua, that augment battlesuit is also really meta and is really powerful, and in some situations even better than the top tier elemental that we have, and that is currently Herrscher of the Reason. And also some S ranks are also weaker than other S ranks, for example Herrscher of the Void and the new Durandal, both of which are pretty weak now compared to some of the other S ranks that we have, compared to, for example, Herrscher of the Reason and Sting and Nymph. Those two are currently top tier. And well, in 4.0 we're getting a pre-arm upgrade for Herrscher of the Void, so we will see how that will change her performance in that update. But at the moment, she is pretty weak for an S rank compared to other current top tier meta S ranks. And also, we have some sub S ranks, which I like to call them sub S ranks. Night Moonbeam, that is kind of weaker than the base S Herrscher of the Void, and is mostly used as a support to support and to increase the damage on the Herrscher of the Void. So overall, we have a variety of characters in the game, and most of them have a really good purpose. However, some of them are also pretty weak, and people don't play them much. For example, Imbue Ritual, I almost forgot her name. She is also pretty forgotten. Gyakushin Himeko, and we have also what was her name? Let me just find her really quickly. It is Sakuna Ronda. She's also pretty never used and almost useless. Well, what does that mean in actual combat performance? Well, the B ranks, for example, Indira Abyss, they are definitely going to be definitely not going to be a good choice in terms of a main damage as a main damage class. As you can see, by the way, all of the test subjects here are going to be using the same equipment that you should see on the screen, to make the test pretty accurate and to make it fair. All of them are going to be Kaslanas, because of the current gear that I'm using benefits mostly Kaslanas, so it will be used on them. and the gear will be pretty much the same, literally the same weapon will be the same for all of these characters. So the B rank performance in Direct C or in any Abyss will be really poor, and you should never use this character in higher abysses, since it will be really painful. And as you can see here, I am taking it takes too much time to complete this with this character, and even at the triple S rank it will still take a decade to finish these stages with a B rank. And this is one of the things that I pretty much don't like a lot, and that is you pretty much will be forced to use a character that you will have that you will need to have, and that is a meta character or a generally really powerful unit. While in other games I've seen the opposite. In some other games I've seen the B ranks being as potent and as effective, in some cases even better than the S ranks, and that is really interesting. But in Honkai, in this game, we don't see that, and you will see a clear difference. The DPS difference, the margin will be a lot bigger here compared to B and compared to A and S. But compared B to A, you will see a really big difference between the performances of these units. And you will see after I change to Void Drifter on the same enemies, you will see a really big difference between the damage of these two characters. And Void Drifter is one of those A ranks, of course a augmented A rank, that is really powerful and is one of my personal favorite characters, mostly because of her playstyle and mostly of the way she is being played. Now we jumped in the stage, again same enemies, same floor, same everything, and you immediately see the difference between the damage of these two characters. Void Drifter will just shred everything to pieces. Now of course not all B ranks are pretty useless, not all are that. Valkyrie Chariot, for example, is still being used. I pretty much use her when I need to, as a I use her to clump the enemies together at one spot, only for that, and she is the only B rank that is being used in late game. You will not see any other B rank being used later on in the game. At least I didn't see, and that is because the other ranks and other Valkyries, the newer one especially, are a lot more powerful and are definitely a lot more potent than the B ranks. Well, recently we also seen the A ranks do a really good comeback, especially with the new Fuhua augment that is pretty much currently one of the top tier meta in the game. Her DPS is truly great, especially when you max her out, which is also pretty easy, and she is the one that is pretty much saving the free-to-play of this game. Well, and also this character is also pretty strong, and as an A rank is doing a really good job in late game, and with a good team, with a proper team, you can use her in late game without a problem. At least that was up till recently. I didn't test the other fully geared out and of course fully teamed out teammates for this character, since this is mostly a 1 versus 1 and I have only one support for health, nothing else, no third support. And so far she is doing a really she's doing a lot more better job on taking out these enemies than compared to White Commander. As you can see, the damage output of this character is a lot greater than the damage output of the White Comet, which is again to be expected. Now again, like I said, I will have to repeat this because this is a 1 versus 1, pretty much the base performance of all these characters, the raw difference between the characters, which is really important. And well, we are jumping on the S rank. This is Herrscher Void, again using the same equipment, same gear, same everything as seen on the other Valkyries, and here you will see a major increasement over the A rank. Since this is a Herrscher, one of the, well, used to be one of the most powerful characters in the game, her DPS definitely tops off all the other characters seen so far in gameplay here, and this character can still help you at soloing most of the abyss, and they are especially lethal with their signature gear. If I had the signature gear, this would have been already finished without this would have already be over the whole fight. And that is also one big difference between the characters, since the S ranks, especially the Herrschers and the newer released S ranks, are having equipped special stigmas. And what does that mean? Well, that means that their signature gear will benefit the character that they're supposed to be on a lot more than other characters, and that's been a trend for a while now. So that pretty much means Sirin set will definitely be the best for this character and will not be good for any other character. They can be good, but you will not get the full effect of the stigma on any other character besides the character that they should be equipped on. And that is also a difference. Now, I'm not quite sure if the other A ranks have that. I think they don't have it. I didn't check the stat on the new Fuhua, but I think that they don't have that effect. That effect is purely saved up for S ranks for really interesting and odd reasons, but I guess okay. And well, let me just we are still not at the one minute bleed mark there, so I usually like to end these fights when we hit the first level mark there. And well, you clearly can see a major difference between the raw physical damage of these two characters, being B being lowest, A being slightly higher, or should I say a lot higher than compared to the B rank, and the S rank being the highest, and she definitely dominates so far, as expected. Well, their co-op performance, now this is where things get really interesting, since this pretty much depends from the enemies, it depends from the teammates, it depends from a variety of situations. And B ranks can be used in co-op efficiently, interestingly enough, and you can use them quite well without worrying too much if you have good teammates. If you plan to use a B rank, you can. If it's a well-equipped B rank, you can use the B rank quite well in co-op. But if you have a S rank on the team or A rank, they are definitely going to outperform you. So don't expect MVPs with a B rank in this game, especially when we have characters like Herrscher of the Void, we have Sting and Nymph, and we have characters like these, which are really powerful. And still, you can, like I said, use them. You don't have to worry about anything else. You can be carried, and well, that's a B rank, and it can save one spot for other characters. Well, A ranks, on the other hand, are definitely a lot more powerful, a lot more. They pack a lot more damage and a lot more buffs. And with them, like I said before, you pretty much can be MVP. Now, of course, it really depends on the teammates that you have and what they're using. If they're using, for example, Herrscher of the Reason, you can forget MVP, except if they are using it on Khan, which I see a lot, which I just have questions why. So A ranks will definitely be really useful and will do really good in co-ops. Any co-op will pretty much do, they will do in any co-op really well. And if you're looking for MVP, a well-built A rank, maxed out A rank, can be more powerful than pretty much the average base S rank that we have in the game. Now again, I have to repeat myself. If you have a S rank, for example, Herrscher of the Reason, if you have Sting and Nymph, yeah, they will definitely be getting MVP over you, but the damage will be pretty close, and a lot higher than on the B ranks. So the A ranks will definitely do a lot better in co-ops than the B ranks, which is to be expected. And well, you even can carry with an A rank without a problem. Now also keep in mind, my Void Drifter here is maxed out, so she's extra lethal, and it is pretty interesting to see the difference between the ranks. Now with this character, you will definitely want to rank her up on the maximum, because you are going to get a lot more extra buffs. Well, let me just heal up my teammates here, because they died somehow, and somehow I have full health. I have no idea how, but it doesn't matter. Oh, they're alive now. I have no idea how they died. I was too focused on talking. Okay, well, that was weird. Well done. And we are reaching the end of the fight with the A rank. She did a good job. She even carried the match, which is really interesting. And A ranks are definitely going to be a lot fun to play. Now also, one big difference between the S, B and A ranks is that S rank fragments are going to be hard to farm, besides some exceptions, Twilight Paladin being one, and the other old S ranks that are pretty old now and that I think no one is using. And the B fragments and A fragments are easily farmable, and overall you should invest in A rank fragments, because A ranks are really powerful and a really good alternative to S ranks in overall performance. Well, we have the S rank co-op, and you definitely can see an increasement in overall damage and overall DPS on the character. It is Herrscher of the Void, and well, you can expect a really high performance from S ranks. She used to be a lot more powerful back in the day, but somehow she got weaker over time. I don't know what happened there, but back in the day she was really powerful and she was top tier, and she kind of still is top tier. Well, she will be after we get the pre-arm in 4.0. But overall, top tier performance and mostly highest scores you will see with the S ranks, base S ranks. Herrschers especially, they are the most powerful ones in the game. And well, as you can see, we are wiping the floor with these mobs like there is no big deal. We have Sting and Inf over there, and we have Herrscher the Void, 2 S ranks, and as you can see, definitely it feels a lot easier. They are doing a lot more damage, and we are clearing this in record time. And if I had the signature gear, this would have been a lot faster, of course, so keep that in mind. I'm not using signatures on her. I'm using the same gear that I used on the other Caslanas that we have in the game. Well, slowly coming to an end on this, and we can see a pattern forming. Overall, it is what we all expected. The DPS on the B ranks is the lowest. The A ranks are in the middle to the high middle, and in some cases high, and the S ranks DPS mostly is high. Well, how are they going to fight bosses? Well, with a B rank it will be, well, difficult. Definitely do not use B ranks when you're fighting bosses, unless you're like doing a video on April 1st or something like that. Just don't, just don't. Even on the triple S rank, it will take a month to complete the bosses, and your score, even if you complete the boss, your score will be not quite high. And I have on this character I have one of the best gears that I could find on that's really good on her. And yeah, overall the DPS is still low, and this character is, by the way, I forgot to mention, this character is one of the most hated characters in the game, and I think seeing her getting hit actually makes people happy. I'm not quite sure about that, that's what I heard. If anyone has more info on that, I'm more than interested in reading what you have to say, honestly. Since this character's performance, the B rank's performance overall is yikes. Crimson Impulse is a little bit better. You can use her on the double S rank, but is still pretty weak, and I would not recommend that you use her for anything besides the story stages. You can use B ranks in story stages quite well. That's one thing, that you can use them quite efficiently, and even then you can kind of get stuck. But in most cases, you can use the B ranks for co-op just fine without much of a problem. And the A ranks in story stages are also quite useful, quite fun to use, and you will also clear the story stages efficiently. And of course, the S ranks in the story stages, again, you can use them, will be really efficient and will work pretty well, and you will clear them, of course, really fast. On the hard stages and on the supreme stages, well, depends from stage to stage. You can use B ranks in them. You can try. I think you can use them in the hard and supreme stages. Not all. Some of them are going to be difficult for a B rank. Even a geared out B rank will sometimes have problems. It depends on the stage. The A ranks will have no problem dealing with those, and the S ranks again will have no problem dealing with those. Well then, time to see the A ranks performance over here, and we all can expect a major increasement in overall raw physical damage. And of course, this one being a bit, well, she's mixed melee and ranged, so that's really interesting. Well, we see a immediate difference in damage output. This character is just shredding everything to pieces, and I have a really good team for her that I have built back in the day when the character was released, but I just don't use her because the S ranks are just that much more powerful, especially Herrscher of the Reason. Interestingly enough, Herrscher of the Reason is still really strong. We will see what will happen to her when the next Herrscher gets released in hopefully 4.1 and 4.2. Well, the boss clearing experience is definitely a lot faster, and if I used my team, the boss would have been dead already. And of course, if I used the usual equipment that I use on the character, the boss would have been pretty much dead already. But for testing purposes, I am using the same gear for all of these characters. Okay, well, doing a good... Well, so far we see a major difference in damage output between these two characters. And it is as to be expected from a A rank character, or in this case, a triple S rank character, because she is quite maxed out. But overall, you catch my drift. Okay, well, we have a couple more seconds to go until we hit the first mark there, and we will see if I can get to the 6th helper. I think I can. We will see. And by the way, this is a enhanced boss too, so yeah, that's why it takes a decade to complete them, just to keep in mind. Well, and the shield is up. We are nearing up the first mark. Definitely a lot more pleasant experience than what we've seen with the B rank, and you will see even a better experience when I hop in the S rank. It will be a lot faster, and of course it should be a lot faster because it is a S rank. It is what to be expected from S ranks, which again in some other games did pretty much the opposite. The B ranks and S ranks are DPS wise almost the same, which is something that I really like a lot in that game, which will be unnamed because I know people just don't want to hear that name of that game. But anyway, the S rank, well, immediate difference in performance, in damage, and well, the ultimate, that was quick, and my evasion decided to not work, but that's to be expected from Diraxi. And yeah, as I've said before, the difference in damage is definitely there, major increasements, and you can just imagine what would happen if I even used the signatures on this character. This boss would have been destroyed pretty much really quickly. And on top of that, imagine if I had more supports for this character. Yeah, the boss would have been absolutely destroyed by now. And well, again, is to be expected. It is to be expected, this performance from a S rank, pretty much a top tier damage dealer in the game that we had. And well, we reached health number 7, pretty much slightly faster than on the A rank. And keep in mind that A rank is, like I said before, on a triple. It's maxed out. Rank wise, it is maxed out. Core wise, it is also maxed out. And she is just peeking around the corner to be as powerful as a fully fledged stock or base S rank. Really interesting. Really interesting. It is pretty much what I have expected, honestly. Now, of course, it will be really interesting when I start to see the performance of the new Fuhua. I still don't have her because I haven't been playing that much because of, well, you know, we have a interesting little login problem that is still present. But I will get the new Fuhua, definitely. And it will be interesting to compare her with Herrscher the Reason. Really interesting to compare her with Herrscher the Reason. Mostly because I am really curious to see that crazy damage output of the new Fuhua, which I will, like I said, be testing out. Okay, well, that was kind of unfortunate that he popped up the shield. We are nearing the 1 minute mark, and overall, we all know and we all could see the differences between the A rank, B rank, and S ranks. S ranks being the most powerful ones, most potent ones, and in both support and DPS, that is what the game has decided to be. And well, for a conclusion, you can pretty much play any character you want and you like. Back in the day, I used to make really good builds, and back in the day I used to use B ranks in Abyss, and I was retaining DRXC and Red Lotus pretty much with B ranks and A ranks, but times since then changed, and we now pretty much have to have meta in order to be pretty much closer on being valid, or should I say being relevant in the game. Well, anyway, the overall test showed us what we all expected, and well, the progression between the B, A and S rank is definitely notable. And well, with that being said, it was my pleasure to play this for you. It was also really fun, and well, I will see you next time. Take care.